or not at all?
I try to drink not so much water because for the fights I must learn to accept. My body must accept it, and he must fight. So yes, I would
Yeah,
say
yeah,
not so much.
yeah. When I'm training, I don't drink water. I okay. I have if I go to the gym, I have a picnic. Like I have I
Cool.
put all my stuff. I put all my stuff out. Like my gym is really big gym, right? And I go. It's like
Cool.
10 o'clock at night. I go until 2 o'clock in the morning, and I do tactics. So I take sometimes I take 10 minutes between the sets. Because I'm doing tactics, and I each set I could do 100%. And I have all my clothes and everything. And I have like a monster drink. I have protein shake. I have like donuts. I have sugar. I have some chicken. I have some beef jerky. Like it's like buffalo meat with sugar. I have all these things, and I eat during the whole thing, and that's great. And then when I do the boxing on that side, I don't even have water. I just I drink when I get back home. And so
Yes.
when you're in the fight, you go back to your corner and you have a bit of water. It's like it's so great because you're not used to it.
Crazy.
Mhm. Okay, so diet, nothing, no particular. You have fasting from
Yes,
time
something
to
like that.
time. Yeah.
Yes, I tried in my first matches. I tried to make it diet, and I did it, but it was bad in my feeling. So I want to eat something that I like, and I want not say, oh no, or I. So when I want to eat that, so in the diet I must say no, I don't do it because he has so much calories. Yes, so I would say I don't do it, and I make so much sport, so I would say I don't need so much of this, and I don't eat it so much of this. But when I have hungry of that, and I eat that.
Yeah. When you're doing a lot of sport, like you can basically eat a lot, and then if you see that you're gaining weight anyway, you stop eating so much, and it just goes down immediately. Like your weight goes back down really fast
Crazy.
because your metabolism is just so you just lower calories for 2 3 days,
Mhm.
and boom, it's
Yes,
mhm. So
that's crazy.
another thing I realized, like I'm trying to understand your secret to improving at chess, right? Because you're only doing tactical problems and playing, but it seems that your sense of the game is improving, and it's not perfect. I will show you that it's not perfect.
Yes, of course. My
But it's really much more structured and everything. And so you know we spoke about like the artist and the athlete and the fighter in boxing. In chess, what because I get the impression that you really like playing, like you're not so focused on the results, like, oh, I have to win this, but it's much more like, this is a really interesting game. I really love this game. Because what happens with chess is people start chess because they love it, but then they get caught up in the competition, and then the competition side, it takes over everything. And then if they lose the game, I mean, they can cry. They can, adults can cry. They can be frustrated for weeks. you know even if they don't lose, even if they draw but it was a winning position, they lose their minds, right?
crazy.
And yeah, in the chess world, it's and for me, this would be so good for chess players like this to do boxing, to get it out of their system, because so you yourself, what do you love the game, or is it the struggle to win? What is the attraction?
I would say it's a struggle to win. Uh my matches before, I would say I was every time I was lose. I have only two matches where I'd say I was on a win. This was against Artem and against Leo. But against the first, also, I mean, the first Artem matches, it was, also, he won on time. He was better than me. my chess game was terrible. And
No, yeah, I mean you didn't have any chess. Yeah,
yes, 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 but
it's okay.
it was. Then against Dogu, I make so much mistakes. This is the thing that I was to try to learn. So I must be. As I don't know that it was because people watched me, and this is why I'm not focused. I'm not. Didn't know that this is the reason, but I would say chess is really afraid. And against Paul Noon too. I mean, I'm really afraid to lost him because chess. Ne? And this is also, it's
Mm.
make me motivated. So I try every day push me, ne? And say you must train on chess. You must win on this battle. So you must train. Do it. But I'm afraid. It
Okay,
is, and I must go to the KO.
if I had any advice, is be afraid as much as you want in training because that's going to make you train, right? But on the day, try to let go because there is no controlling this. I
Mm.
remember my first official fight. Like I had two exhibition fights, okay, and then I had the first fight. It was against a guy called James Pope, and he was like a CrossFit fanatic. Like he was really fit, right? And but even probably I had more boxing. He was doing it for charity. He's like an athletic guy, very athletic guy who got into boxing just for fun. And his chess was like he had no chess. Like compared to me, it's just like no. And before the match, I was so stressed. I start.
So, but
Uh-huh,
I
yeah,
was thinking, your is it over? We
no,
are going off.
no, it shouldn't be over. I hope it's not over. 6 minutes. There's zero people. What's happened? I don't know what's happened. Oh shit. Shall I stop and start again?
I'm not sure, but here's a tab which shows me live, but in this, well, it's coming in new. Wait a second, it's crazy. We can try it again, of course, just like you want.
Maybe I'll
Ah,
just.
but now he's coming again.
It's back.
Yes, I think.
Uh-huh.
Oh, crazy! There are so much people. 10 people? Can be.
Oh, there's 10 people.
I
Uh-huh.
think so.
Okay, now I
I'm
see.
not sure. Yeah, sorry, but I was thinking it's over. Sorry.
No, 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 no. Well, you do well to stop me because mm, um okay. So oh yeah, I was playing against James Pope. That's what I was telling you. Yeah, and this guy, he had no chess compared to me. Like really, like he was starting out like you against Artem in the first one. Yeah, but before the fight, I started revising openings, like really complicated stuff, because I'm like, oh, I mustn't, I have to win at the chess. I was so stressed because the chess stress is different
Mhm.
from the boxing stress. It's not a different. It's and they interfere. It's not a good interference. It's like the boxing stress you can calm down. The chess one you can make it relative. Like okay, calm down. But the chest stress during the boxing, this is a so you have to find a way to disconnect the wires. You know, you have to disconnect the wire.
Mm.
This is my advice, but I mean, of course, I have difficulty doing it myself. Huh? I mean, um,
Have you tips for techniques to do relax in chess? Also, yes.
like well, definitely when I go to the boxing club, right? When I go to the club to spar, or even if it's not to spar, like when I go in, there's a smell, like it's a really old school gym, right? And it's like it's sweat and it's disgusting, you know. And I remember when I used to go in, as soon as I smell it, it would be like and I would be nervous, right? It would be like a reminder Like my brain's like, ooh, this place is dangerous, right? And I would be immediately stressed. And I'm putting on the wraps and I'm feeling stressed. And so now my number one thing is as soon as I come, it's all about relaxation.
Mhm.
It's like even in the
Everything.
sparring, relaxation, even when I'm getting hit, relaxation, just always be relaxed, right? I don't want fear to be
Mhm.
my fuel, right? It's not, I don't think it's a good fuel. I need to be objective and, I have eaten carbohydrates for the fuel. I don't need, I just need to move where I need to move my head to get out of trouble. Yeah. And
Mhm.
stay calm.
That's a
This
good.
is
Thank you. This is a good.
it's
That's
like a
really good. I
meditation.
mean,
It's like
just like Magnus Carlsen. Yeah, that is good.
uh,
Good tip. Thank you.
well, it's one way. This is I came to this because I was very nervous. I came from quite a lot of like for me the whole world of violence was a very stressful place. Like for
Mhm.
me, it's not a natural fun sport thing. For me, it was like the streets and being bullied and all this, right? And
Mhm.
so for me, violence is like ooh, it's like freeze, like shut up and look at the ground. It's
Mhm.
um, so for me to box, it was to unblock this. This was like, and when I saw chess boxing, I wanted to box, but I didn't want to box competitively. I just wanted to learn how to fight, so I could be confident. And then when I saw chess boxing, I was like, oh, okay, okay, this I'll compete. This will be my mission, you know. So,
Cool.
but this was the connection, and so for me, it's all about relaxing under pressure. That's what it is. It's my main
That's
goal.
good.
Mm,
Oh, thank
mhm.
you. I will. I will try it. Like, cool. Thank you.
Well, because there are other ways, right? I mean, Mike Tyson was all about taking the fear and using the fear. Like
Yes. Yes.
and just going. You
Yeah,
know,
it's crazy. It's a crazy guy too.
it's a completely different approach, right? But we were talking about this with Valentin, and just like going into something and being totally stoic, like it doesn't really matter what's going to happen. You will react to what happens when it comes. There's no point in worrying about it, So, um,
Oh, it's cool.
mm. But this is why I think it's important to talk about these things because maybe you know someone doing boxing, you do boxing, and you for 10 years you know him, and you have no idea what the other person is thinking about this thing, like like maybe he has a totally different approach and you think he is thinking the same as you, like
Mm.
some people they visualize with pictures and some people they visualize only with words. Like we are not thinking the same way. Like we are not.
Yes, this is right. Yes, I'm an educator, so I work with childrens, and I see it. Every children is oh, uh, what wait a second, I must wait for the English word.
Mhm.
Various, different. Every
Yeah,
person is different.
yeah. We're all unique in our own way.
That's right.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So, oh yeah. So we've talked about the stress before the fight, right? And it's about performance. And what about afterwards? Is it like joy or is it relief? Like you
Oh,
win the
that's
fight.
a
Let's
good
say you
question.
win. Like, is it
Mm.
like yay, I won, or is it like whew, I didn't lose, everything's great, like all the tension leaves your body?
That's a good question too. Um, Paul. I will say it's a mix. It's so it's important how I win. I must say against Atem I won, but I don't feel me like a winner. I know that in boxing I was terrible, so for me it was a loss. And after this I want go away. I want train So it's difficult, I would say. So, but when I won against Leo, I was pooh. I didn't lost, like you said. So
Uh,
um, it's come on how I win
you,
or
don't-
how I lose.
you don't find you're being a bit a bit hard on yourself about the R10 match because it is chess boxing, right? I mean, you're allowed to lose in one as long as you win the overall battle. You know, you beat him fair and square in the chess. Yes, you lost at the boxing, but you know, but for you that's not enough. You want.
Yes. For me, it's
Uh-huh.
not enough. I want, but for me, it's better than I lost in chess than in boxing because I feel me just like a boxer. And when I lost in boxing, so I feel me terrible. And I mean, I won't make an MMA. How I will win an MMA fight when I didn't fight against someone in boxing? So for me, it's really hard to understand it. And against Leo, I would say he was the better boxer on this evening. Some people say it, of course he was. Some people say no, you are better. But I would say is I watched the fight and I see my footworks and that was terrible. And I must say, oh, this not was not good. So
Oh, no,
I
but
must learn about it.
it's you have very different the two fighters, huh? You have very different expressions of your energy. The pace. I would say that he clearly won the first round, right? He was cleaner. He was timing you pretty well. You weren't able to express yourself, but that could just be because it's the first round, right?
Mm,
Energy is fresh. You are trying to understand what's happening, right? And then as the rounds went on, you gained confidence and his energy went down. So for me at the end, it wasn't so clear like who won the boxing. For me, it was like he definitely won the first round for me. Like there was, and I was wondering, like after the first round of boxing, were you a bit worried? Like, wow, this guy is maybe outperforming me, you know, because it's that first round. I mean, you survived the round. You. For me, I'm happy generally. I know I survived one round. I can survive 5 rounds, right? So because I have 5 minutes to get back. But
mm.
what were you thinking after that first round of boxing? What were because you give a little smile to the corner, like yeah, no, no, no. But was that to kind of hide the real emotions, or
Yes, I was wondered because I didn't know that I see it because I hit him so much on a body. So I watched him before. I was what is his weakness, and I saw how his body is free, and I hit him so much on the body, and he was not interesting for that. I mean, he stand there just like nothing, and I was so wondered, and I tried it again, 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 and this is what I learned after the first round that it doesn't work. So I can try it, but I must do something else. So in the next rounds, I try more uppercuts. What I didn't do it, and this is what I have to learn, is the overhand. Yes, trade the overhand. I didn't do it one time. This is what I work on. So after, but to your question, in the first round, I was nerved because it didn't. It don't hit him. It don't. It was like what I do now. So yes.
okay? Maybe we can come back to some questions later. But let's do some chess. Yeah, let's look at the game.
Of course. I'm really excited to see it. Ah, yes. So, yes, I must take my handy because he cannot see it. Yes.
Okay, so um, d4 d5. You see it on the screen, yeah? Or
Yes, I see it. You see it here.
okay. So here he plays this move bishop f5. Okay, so the first thing I would tell you, um, you hang on, you're managing to hang on. I'm just wondering if oh no 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 no. I opened up the screen. Hang on, hang on. That's not gonna work. That is not gonna work. Okay, so and if I do this, do we go back to normal?
Nice.
Yeah, we're back to normal. Yeah. So there's this move, bishop f5, which has been played. Yeah. Oops. So here, the first reflex that you should have, and I'm saying this, it's not a criticism because what you played was very interesting, and actually, in a sense, because of the a sentiment of surprise, right, an element of surprise, maybe what you did was more practical, right? But I'm just talking in general, right? So I'm giving you here a chess perspective, not a chess boxing perspective. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
thank you. That's
you see what
good.
I mean? It's not about like what you should do in chess boxing because obviously I don't want you to hesitate. I want you to play with the level you have, and shoot it out. But if you take a step back and you make yourself stronger at chess, I can assure you that your reflexes will be better too, right? So this is a purely chess approach, and normally what you would see is that after this move, immediately it's not a mistake, but it's slightly premature, right? I mean, grandmasters have played this, so it's not wrong, but the main point is that the bishop isn't defended, right? So he's taking out
Mhm.
a bishop which won't be defended. Maybe later we can gain a tempo, but also this pawn on b7, right? You see where I'm putting the arrow
Mhm.
here, right? This is also unprotected all of a sudden. So these are like weak spots that you can pick up on. And so associated with this bishop move
Yeah.
is the move c4, right? And the idea is what you want to do is you want to put the queen on b3 to attack this spot, right? And so from here, you're putting a lot of pressure on here. All these are natural developing moves, right? To put the pressure
Mhm.
on d5 and b7. So this is kind of a natural approach against this bishop f7 stuff, right? And then of
Mhm.
course it gets a little bit more complicated, but it's good that you know this type of thing, right? To put the queen here, because all of a sudden, because the bishop's
Mhm.
here, right? He doesn't have a good response. So let's say he
Mhm.
plays queen c8, the queen is a little bit misplaced, right? Your queen is very active, his queen is not. If he plays a move like b6, right? A move, let's say like this, yeah? If he plays a move like this, the problem is because the bishop is missing, these squares, these light squares, are weak, right? So
Mhm.
it's much more difficult for black to find a correct, solid positioning for his pieces. For example, if the knight came out here, it would not be protected, right? You would be able to maybe pin it or put the queen on diagonal, do something. So this bishop f5 move, of course, if now he starts playing very precisely, it's not wrong. But the general way of dealing with this is to try to put pressure here. Now, you played instead bishop g5, which is kind of
Wait a second. I'm white, no? I
you're
was
white.
white.
You're white. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You played
Yeah.
bishop g5. Now this move,
Ah, so yes, 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 yes,
uh-huh.
yes. Yeah. Mhm.
This is
So yes,
got
understand.
now.
Sorry.
Did you prepare this? What is the like? Did you have?
The pla- the this was I trained with someone of us. So the plan was that he make with his knight f6,
Yeah, this is what he
and
did.
then yes, and then I can took it
Yeah,
with f6 with my bishop, because for two things. First things, he has double Bauer. I don't know what Bauer
double pawn.
is.
Yeah, double pawns. Yeah.
Yes, yes, something like that. So this is a bad movement for him. And the second thing is, I want make later my both Turm. What English words of chess is. Wait a second. Sorry. Wait, give me chess figures names. Rock, right? Genau, yes, rock. So I have my plan was two rocks on a side, and he rotate his king and rock so that I can push my Bauern.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Your pawn. Your pawn. Your pawn. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, to the king side. This was the tactic against Paul, against Leo.
Okay, now there are some good things in what you're saying, but it's not entirely true. Okay. So for
Mhm.
example, here when you take, yes, you are doubling his pawns, right? But you're spending also two tempos, right? One and two to, to give the bishop pair. So the bishop pair, you have two bishops at the start of the game. When you give
Mhm.
one of them, now there is an imbalance, right? So you
Mhm.
have, he still has his two bishops. You have bishop and knight, right? And so these two, they complement each other. Now, of
Mhm.
course, a bishop and a knight, it's worth more or less the same. But we do take in account keeping them together, right? Because the complex, right? As soon as you, for example, give the dark square bishop,
Mhm.
this light square bishop, it becomes a little bit weaker. It's difficult to do the full job, right? So
Yeah, it's good.
these are things to take in account. Now the problem is, in this particular case, it's not a good example to show you something simple. It's a very complex case because, yes, there are double pawns, okay, but this pawn, even this pawn, it's actually controlling the center, right? It's controlling a central square that the knight might want to investigate, if it wasn't
Mhm.
there, right? It's a natural square for the knight. It's also opening this file for the rook. So there are certain things which are beneficial to black in this, right? So but it's still very interesting. It's not, uh, you know, it's not 100% perfect, but it's just like an early imbalance. You have a very unbalanced position,
Mhm.
right? So this can be
Yeah.
good to take the guy out of his general, what he's used to, right? So okay.
Yes, but it's good what you said because this was elections of Magnus Carlsen. I don't know. And then, you know the Magnus Carlsen app?
Magnus Carlsen, what?
Magnus Carlsen app.
Oh, the app.
Yes, there is an app. He show you so much chess things, and just like you said, he say the same thing. The two bishops. It's important that they are, yes.
Oh, 100%. No, the two bishops.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, you have to be careful. So this is where you are
Mhm.
actually going to play something very interesting now. So you play
Mhm.
e3, which is the normal kind of move, right? Now, sooner or later, and you're going to do it much later in the game. So here, what you can do to optimize these double pawns, right? These double pawns here, right? They can be bad, they could be good, but it depends of the situation. Now let's take an example. You have this pawn on d5, right? The one where the arrow is, right? If I exchange it, for example, against the pawn on c2, so I don't know, let's imagine bishop here, I play c4, he takes, I take. Okay, so here we have one type of structure where basically here you have three, you have two against three, okay, and here you have five, and so the pawn is not at the correct place, but okay, so let's say now I will try to make it a little bit clearer what I'm trying to say. So
Mhm.
let's say now he exchanges also this one, okay. It's going to make it easier to understand. Okay, now we have two against two here, and we have four against four here, right? This four against four, it doesn't really matter that much that he has
Mhm.
double pawns, right? Because there's no majority, right? There's no majority. It's four against four. Now look at the difference. Let's say, imagine now that somehow I manage to, um, okay, I will just play some silly moves just to get the example, right? This is obviously bad. He would take it, but I'm just want to
Yes.
show you this. Okay, just for the structure. Now look, here you have four against three, okay? And on this side, you have three against four. But now the double pawns are bad because on the side of his majority, he can't do much, right? He can't do much against your minority. But your majority, is much better than his minority. So you see, the
Mhm.
imbalance is not the same. So you have this case, and in the other one, you have this case, right, where it's 4 against 4, 2 against 2, right? It depends of the structure where the majority is to know if it is important that there is. So this pawn, for example, it's actually, it could be good. It could even be good because it's an extra protection for the king, right? So with the bishop pair,
Mhm.
probably black is already better a little bit, just not much, but probably a little bit better here, right? Because of the bishop pair, and the structure
Mhm.
is not a problem. But in this one and this one, the pawn structure is going to compensate for the bishop pair, because at some point the majority, you're going to be able to transform it into a passed pawn in the end game, for example. You're also going to be able to get a lot of space and control a lot of squares in the center. So this you have to keep in mind. At some point, which pawn are you going to use? Which pawn break are you going to use to exchange against the d pawn? That's an important question that you have to ask yourself. Okay, you are going to answer it. It is going to happen. So c5 happens. Now this is a very critical. I put this at the poster. The on Instagram for the advertisement. I put this position exactly
Mhm.
because this position is very critical. This is a critical position. Okay, so what you ideally want is actually to exchange this. Okay, now here you played the move. You played c3. Yeah, you still with me?
Yes, I'm still with you.
Mhm. So you played this c3 move. So why? I just trying to understand. Why did you choose this?
Because I have three protection for d4. So the bishop, no, not bishop, the knight protect, and my two pawns. Pawns, is it called pawns?
Plus the queen.
Yes, this and the queen. So I have the middle. I have the center.
Okay, so you're overprotecting the pawn, which is not a bad thing. But in this particular case, as you said, you already have a lot of things protecting this pawn, right? So
Mhm.
it's not really necessary. This move, c3, it comes from pattern recognition
Mhm.
from, for example, the London system, or, for example, the Stonewall. You told me that you want to play Stonewall with
Yes, yes,
f4.
yeah. So I know.
So
That's fair.
this is a typical structure, but in this particular position, it's not needed, right? It's mixing up
Mhm.
different types of position. What you really want to do, right, is to find the
Is to
best
evolution
possible
my.
way to take this to exchange these two pawns. Why? Because then this pawn on d5 is going to be isolated. You're going to get an isolated pawn.
Mhm.
So for the moment, you don't have to take, not immediately, because it his bishop hasn't moved yet, right? So if you take
Mhm.
now, it's possible you can do this, and you allow him to take immediately with the bishop. He's going to gain a tempo because we know for sure that he has to move the bishop sooner or later to be able to castle, right? So we generally, what we do is we wait until he moves and then we take, right? But
Mhm.
here you can even maybe take anyway, right? Or you can play a move like check and quickly castle. You wait for the bishop to move, and then you take on c5, right? So, and we'll see that during the rest of the game, uh, it very much is going to be a question of, if you take, you're better. If you don't, you're worse,
That's
right?
good.
So here, mhm.
That's good. Yes, but what is? I have another move. What is with Queen E2? As I mean, two things are important for me. Where's important to evolution my figures? So the bishop and the knight, there are must be better. So I'm not sure what's it's an better move. Um,
You want to play queen e2 here? This is what.
Yes, like this, because the next target could be b5 that I have a chess. Or
uh
what do you think?
I would say, like, I would not particularly think of this move. It the problem I think that you're gonna get is
The
that,
big
okay,
trouble.
okay, immediately this guy is not gonna have an easy time to develop,
Mm,
right? You're making his life a
that's
little
right.
bit more difficult. This threat, we are not exactly sure that it's really a threat, because the queen could maybe just stop the check, right? Or maybe
Mm,
we could play that now. Maybe there's a little something. It's really hard to tell. But I'm guessing, let's say knight c6. Okay, what would you play now?
um,
You
I
want to
would.
still go there, or
Yes, I would take the b7.
so you come here? But now
Mhm.
already I can, if I want, I can exchange queens. I can play a move like check.
Mm,
It's it's very difficult to tell, because, like, I wouldn't go for this, but the position is
mm,
so strange because of this early take,
mm,
and because of c5, right? The structure is so strange. It's very hard to tell. Like here, if I play just knight c3 and take, already you have a lot of threats on c7, taking, maybe just rook c8 here. Uh-huh.
yes, but yeah, but this would be awesome. It's no, it's not.
Yeah,
The
I'm not
this
sure.
one.
I have my reserves for queen e2. I
Mm,
prefer very simple development. If queen e2 works, it would be like a special, exceptional case. Okay,
mm,
but in general, you don't even need this. You just need at some point to play against the isolated pawn, right? We'll
mm,
we'll we'll see a little bit later, because, okay, let's move forward. So c3, he plays knight c6, which is fair enough. Bishop d3. Now I really like this move. This move is good. Why? Because it's not easy to play it, in the sense that normally this is your good bishop, right? Like, the bad bishop would be the one on c1, right? That
mm,
you got rid of, and this one is like the good one. It can go between its pawns. It can attack the enemy pawns, right? So by doing this, you're actually giving the good bishop, but because you've given him the bishop pair, after the exchange, he loses that bishop pair. So it's kind of a good deal. I would say that it's a good deal to do this here. What I would have done if I was him, though, I wouldn't have taken. I think this is way too cooperative.
mm,
This is way too. This is like allowing you. Generally, you don't want to be the person to exchange the piece, right? To take the piece that's going to be taken back, because you see, right? We all had pieces. He had one piece here. You had both pieces not developed. All of a sudden, you have a piece developed. He has none. So if I was him, I would have played a move. Let's say like this, right? Like bishop g6, and I allow you to take. Now, if you take, I take. So I have this. I have two double pawns.
yes.
It looks like it's terrible, but the truth of the matter is, I'm controlling a lot of squares. This is a an open file. So this could be kind of a fun. It could be a fun thing, because I think black is doing okay here. It's not.
Oh, great.
It's kind of, it's just really strange, but okay. So okay, bishop d3, queen takes d3. Now I'm starting to like your position at this point, right? He plays bishop d6, and so now it starts. So remember that move you told me about, queen e2, right? Queen e2 to go to b5. You can do it now if you want. You can do queen b5.
Yes.
That's
Crazy.
one possibility, right? It's one possibility. It's not so clear. You can play queen b6, a4. Okay, it's but simply, and this for the next 10 moves, what you really have to do is very simple. You just have to take the pawn. You have to take the pawn because it's not a normal situation. Now, the fact that this has been doubled, now it counts because this pawn is isolated. You see, he has no friends on the
Mm.
side. So all you have to do now is make sure that this square is well protected so he can't move forward. And then you attack this pawn, right? So you're gonna castle, you're gonna put the rook on d1, and you're just gonna attack the pawn. And he has no friends to defend it. And
Mm.
this is strategically almost winning. Maybe not, it's not a winning position, but strategically, it's very one-sided. All of a sudden, you are much better. Yeah.
Crazy.
So, so this type of thing, isolated pawn, you have to recognize it. Okay. So knight d2, for example, the computer in this situation, he so much doesn't want you to take that he plays this. He takes away all the pressure from this point. So when you do this, now it's very easy for you, right, to start your right. And as I was saying, you're going to exchange this pawn against this pawn, and
Yes.
then after that, this pawn is going to be passed, and you're going to have a majority. So he everything has been done, right? This everything's been done for you, but the computer still plays that because he doesn't want you to take. He really doesn't want you to take and be landed with this pawn. Okay, so
Hmm.
try and remember isolated pawn. So he castles, and now you're going to play a move that I don't like.
Yes, I trade. This is what I learned. This is what we do it. Like I said before, the rocks together. But yes, I know my protection for the king when I change them is not so good.
Yeah.
This was
So
bad
this
move.
this is kind of a typical mistake, and what it is
Yes, it's bad.
how could you put it? It's basically you don't want a technical game, you want an attacking game, right? You want because you want your game to be like um, opposite color, opposite side castling. It's renowned for the big fight. Yeah, it's like now we'll throw the pawns. It's warrior style, but this warrior style, it's not good in every position. Like here, he has a double pawn to help him with defense, right?
Mm.
So now the double pawn is actually maybe good, right? Plus, it's protecting an interesting square, and plus, your king is just much weaker than his. Right? It's going to be much easier for him to attack. Okay, so here, what would black do if we give ourselves a little bit of time to think about it? What should black do here? What he did was
Oh, he
queen
has so
b6.
much
What
moves.
should he
So
do?
he can do with queen queen a5.
Okay, he could do queen a5. That's
Yes.
that's a decent move. Okay, but let's say on queen a5, I play king b1. Okay, which is natural. It's a natural move.
Mm.
Okay, how does
Then
black?
he can take pawn c4, attack the queen.
Yeah, exactly. So here, okay, so this move, right? Generally speaking, if it was
Yes.
if your king was here, right? Imagine you castle on the king side, right? This move would be bad, like we saw here, like we saw when it's like this, right?
Mm.
Here it would be bad because it's allowing you to do the strategy, right? When you're going to push this pawn, when you're going to push this e pawn, right? You're going to be putting pressure here. He has no pawn to he's going to have to defend with a piece, and then this one's going to become very weak, right? And your pawn, the one that I'm making, this one on d4, is going to be passed and it's going to be really good, right? So here, if it's not about the king, this is a good structure for you. Now the difference is, once you've castled, now it's a totally different game, because this, yes, it exists, but what black is going to do is immediately run up the board. He just wants to
Mm.
open a file and make your king suffer. And this bishop is going to be really good to swoop in at some point. So now you're
Mm.
in big danger. This is big danger. This is, yeah, castle long was not a good idea. Mm.
Yes.
So okay, he plays queen b6. Again, you just have to take. You just have to take, and then, for example, he takes with something. You play knight b3. You attack. You gain a tempo. He moves back. You win the pawn. Right? Simple. Real simple.
Yes.
Okay. So here you played very fast. I remember. I was surprised you played very fast. You played queen b6. You immediately moved back queen c2 to defend. Right? You didn't need to. This was not the most precise move. This queen move wasn't queen a5 that you suggested was better, probably, because at least
Mm.
he's attacking something very concrete. Ah, maybe you can just play the same, because I'm attacking a piece, and then when you're going to take, you're actually defending this pawn. Maybe even queen a5. The correct way, again, is c4. Now that there's a castle long, and now just immediately run up the board, right? And
Mm.
open a file, open diagonals. This is the right way. So this, you didn't have to defend, so you're not so much in a hurry. You should probably just take and then take the pawn on d5. So you do it. Plays a5. Again, you should take. Every move you should take, basically.
Yes.
Okay. So okay,
It's really.
queen here, take, take, and now he should play c4. Instead, he plays a4. And what did you play? Do you remember?
What I played. Mm, I'm not sure. I played back right to D2.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hang on. You played back to d2. Okay, what would you do different?
Yes, C5.
Right, it's there. So later on in the game, you're going to do that perfectly, right?
Mm.
You're gonna take, you're gonna get there, and then you're gonna come back. And later on in the game, you're gonna play really nice chess. This point, since castle long, you've had a few moves where yeah, you're a little bit out of the game. But okay, so knight d2, b5. Again, once again, just take this pawn,
Yeah.
make this one isolated, and this is, and then after this, just to stop all the pawns and make this one very weak. Okay, so you
Yes.
played a3, knight a5, and round of end of round one. So all of this was the first, you know, the first round of chess. Now there was a round of boxing, and yeah, immediately you come out with this move. This is this is kind of funny, but it's a good move. It's a good move. It's again, it's not necessary, because now you could just take once again, right? But at least exchanging this one for this one, you're gonna have what I explained earlier, right? The four, right? Four pawns here against three pawns here. This is going to be perfect for you, because your three pawns are not afraid of his four pawns, right? Because of their doubled. And you're going to have
Mm.
a clean majority on this side, right? So you push, he takes, you take, check this. And now he's going to, now finally the first blunder of the game. It's knight, rook e8. And okay, I mean, we can't, um, you know, it could have been a good move, like this type of move under other circumstances, to you even give a pawn sometimes to enter, it can be interesting. It's just that his rook isn't going to be able to stay here, right? So this is just a mistake. You pick up the pawn, very good. Rook e2 and knight d3, very nice. This knight is beautiful. It's just defending everything. It's gaining a tempo on the bishop. It's defending also this one, just in case you get some knight c4 and some nasty, you know, it's just perfect defender. And plus it's
Yes.
untouchable. Nobody can even try to attack it. The rook can't attack it, the knight can't attack it, the bishop can't attack it. So it's perfect knight. It's not the only way. You could also do this immediately. Like for example, you do this, and if he takes, now you go to knight d3, right? And you win a piece. So
Ah,
okay.
crazy. Yes.
But okay, it's a little bit
Eh,
tricky. He's gonna
but
do this, this.
he can take my my knight too on f3.
Here it's protected for the moment. It's protected. If he does, you just take back and
Ah, yes. Ah, of course. Of course. Yes. 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 You're
so
right.
this is
Thank
not
you.
it's not really attacked because when you see this is what's important. It's like
Mhm.
if you're playing uh if you're playing a game uh with a lot of time, you're going to have time to see these differences. Now I
Mhm.
understand because of the situation on the in the chess boxing, if you see knight d3 and it looks like a good move, you just play it, right? But if you think, oh, knight d3 protects the pawn, well, hang on, it's also attacking that, so it means this pawn doesn't really need protection. I mean, there's some kind of logic that you can find to show you that you don't have to come back immediately. But
Mhm.
so this is the thing. Okay, knight d3, I still like a lot knight d3 because it's the correct
Yes.
way. And then he plays bishop d6. He has to move. And now I was a little bit surprised with this knight g1 move, right? Because it worked, right? And
Yes, but this was bad because the rock he's not active, so he can attack my rock because he's not he. So there are no defense to each other.
well, okay. The truth of the matter is it's not that bad. What's going to happen, right? Is let's say he moves back. The only problem is you have no better move for the knight than knight f3. So you're
Mm.
going to repeat the position. Now, this can even be psychologically, it can even be good for you. Why? Because you're repeating the position. So, one, he has to start thinking, ooh, do I want to draw? Like if I play rook e2, will I have a draw? And two, let's say he plays it immediately, right? Imagine he immediately comes back. Then he'll be taken out of the game psychologically. He's thinking, oh, there's a draw. And that thought it short circuits the mind. He's no longer
Mm.
thinking about chess, he's thinking about the result. So
Oh.
you see, these are little tricks. So you do this quickly, like he moves back and you immediately come back. And so he immediately comes
Mm.
there, and then he's not thinking about the moves anymore. He's thinking about, oh, I think my opponent's going to repeat, and he's thinking about what the consequence of making a draw is, right? So okay, anyway, he didn't see this; he saw this. Now, from a technical perspective, from a purely chess perspective, now there's much less interest to the game, right? Because he took, you exchanged the rook, and now you're just simply completely winning, of course, right? Of course you are, right? So it's not,
Yes,
it's
it's a
not,
checkmate. It can be a checkmate. I mean, he see it because he make h6. So this was this
h6.
move. I mean, he make it because this was the move that he saved him. That he's not checkmate.
No, it's not quite checkmate. The bishop can always move back, huh? If I
Ah,
get
yes.
it.
Ah, yes. This too. Yeah. Oh, yes, of course.
But
Right.
it's not about that. It's like there's too much material deficit. It's white is has too much. extra material, so it is completely winning. So, but there is a funny thing that happened. Knight c5, and he took on h2. Now, probably you watched it again and you heard the commentary of Lawrence Trent, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't. In the fight, I didn't hear it.
No, not during the fight, but afterwards when you probably watched the match on the video, yeah, on YouTube.
Yes. Hmm.
And so here, this is a
This
very
was a bad move.
famous. This is very famous. This is Spassky against Fischer. It's the number one. It was the first game in the Reykjavik 1972 World Championship, which was the most important match of all time because it was the Cold War. It was Russia against America in the I mean Soviet Union against America during the Cold War, and I have to show you this. This is important.
Yeah, but this is but the bishop. Yes, the bishop move is what is bad. I think because you have him. He
Oh no, no,
cannot
it's
escalate.
bad. Oh no, no, it's definitely bad. It's definitely
Okay.
bad. In this case, it's bad, but it's not the fact that it's good or bad. It's a famous move. So you have to know, like your general culture, you must know about this move, right? So we'll finish this game, and I'll show you quickly after this game, like what
Okay.
happened. Okay. So g3, it's the correct way, right? You want to now, of course, if the rook wasn't here, if you needed a few moves to attack it, he might be able to escape. He might be able to play this, then this, right? Put pressure on the pawn, and
Yes.
if you up, he can escape. So he plays this, you play rook h1, the bishop is trapped. He can try to save it. He can play check and this, but there's no point. Yeah, I just come and I will attack the knight, and then I will still get the bishop, right? But he could pretend for a little while, but it's not going to work, right?
Yes.
So he just takes. Fair enough. And now you have a whole rook up. So I just wanted to show you. So okay, we'll go a little bit further. I just want to show you some practical advice. This is not, obviously the game is completely won, right? So it's not about chess. But here there's some practical advice. Here, for example, you played queen, take, take. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Here, if you want to, to, to go much quicker, right? All you have to do is you play knight b7, you defend
Knight
this square,
b7.
you
Mhm.
defend this square. He plays
Ah,
a move.
crazy.
Then you just get
Mm.
rid of the knight, and now you queen for real. Right? You don't
Mm.
have to simplify so fast, right? So
Crazy.
what
Yes.
so what you did is absolutely fine. And in a normal chess game, you could do that. But because you're in a hurry, let's say you don't want extra boxing round because why? Why take the risk? So
Mm.
knight b7, get rid of the knight, and then queen. Okay, that's number one. Afterwards, it's more here. Like here, he still has something going for him. Like he's gonna come forward, take the pawn, and you're gonna have to deal with all these pawns. It's kind of annoying. So what you can do is immediately or later, maybe you can do it later. So let's say you played this move, he plays this, and you took, and he goes, and etc. Okay, and it kind of works, right? But what you can do, you can just play a move like rook d4. And rook d4, you're just protecting all the squares. He has no possibility, right? He
Mm.
he doesn't have any counterplay. You just take all
Strong.
the rook.
Mm. Pretty
You
strong
can't do
move.
anything. Even if he moves this and this, you'll just take everything. So you put the rook here, you defend all the key squares, then all you have to do is advance this one, right? Take the pawns and they will advance on their own. So there's nothing
Mm.
left to be done.
Like
Here
and
it's
push down.
here it's a little bit more scrappy. It's a bit more like a fight, like a brawl. right?
Yes, this was not good. I was not proud of that because I lost my knight. It was so bad.
No,
And
that bit is normal. But again, like here, you took and then you went for the pawn. This is normal. But look, if you want to go faster, once again, you
mm,
can play check. You sacrifice the knight here. Now you take, and now look, you're
mm,
cutting off the king. All you have to do is bring the king over and its mate. So
yes,
again, you gain a lot of time. It's just about gaining time. But okay,
yes,
the what you played is absolutely fine, and then you went to queen and so I mean you didn't mess up. It's just there are some ways that you can go faster here. You have to be maybe a little bit more practical, but this comes with experience, right? Of course, right? So this type of thing, boom, boom, you'll see this
mm,
much faster. Okay, so
summer.
um, that is that game. I want to show you quickly a game. Um,
Bob Fischer.
Bobby Fischer,
Bobby Fischer. Bobby Fischer is he the best chess players in history?
like the goat.
Yes, like the goat.
Well,
Man,
um, it's difficult to say that. Um, in a sense, yes. But hang on. I'll just hang on. I'll bring the board out. Hang on, just 2 secs. Uh, buff, buff. Okay, hang on. I have to. Okay, oops. Huh? Uh,
oh, crazy. This looks awesome.
you're enjoying it, yeah?
Yes, this looks awesome.
Mhm.
And now it's bigger.
Okay, so um, I'm just seeing if people are on the chat. I think I'm not sure how many people are following, but we'll have the YouTube. They'll be able to. I'll put it on YouTube afterwards. Um, okay, so here we won't talk too much about the game itself. It was the first game, um, so I'll leave it on the white side because Fischer had black and he's the one who's going. So it's like in your game, right? He had black and he played bishop takes h2. So I'm not going to focus on this. What happened was there was a big liquidation in the center, right? So it's the first game, and look, symmetrical. Everything is symmetrical, right? The pawns are, the pieces are. The problem with the bishop. He has a problem with this bishop, right? So anyway, b4. So this is gonna be a little too equal. Um, Fischer's taste. I mean, I think for both people. So it's going to be big liquidation, right? And then we're gonna we arrive at some kind of end game, right? And um, it's all very interesting. We could take more time, but it's not the point I want to make. It's here. Okay, so this is the position that that's he's going to get in uh, the first round of the World Championship match against Spassi. So this is huge. Now this is all the media of all the world is watching. Like my my parents would be watching, even if they don't play chess,
Mm.
right? Because it's like it's the Soviets against America. You know, it was really it's like going on the moon sort of thing, right? So
Crazy.
so here Fischer's going to play a very strange move, but it's very debatable the reason that he did it, because obviously he's way too strong to not know that after this the bishop
Ah,
is
now he do it. Yeah, yes, now he do it. But now he can do it because there's no rock. Yes.
okay. So there's no rook, but it's still trapped, and the king is going to come back and get it. So as I said earlier, maybe the secret is that I'm going to be able
Mm.
to rescue a bishop. Right now, if he takes, for example, the bishop is rescued, we can go on our way, and we've created some kind of imbalance, right? Because the pawns are now dissociated and these are compact, right? So maybe there's been a little bit of a weakening. Okay, so he plays h4, the other one plays this, Spassky. And the thing is, it's like we don't know the reason. We don't know if he did it as a provocation to say, I can even draw by playing this bad move, right? Like, even with this, I will still manage to make a draw. Or it could be him actually believing that somewhere down the line in the complications, he had found a way to get a better, to escape, but he did forget something after all. So we don't really know what the truth is. There's like um, there's a debate. It's debatable. So for example, like
Crazy.
um, here, for example, there's a way that you can try something a little bit weird, but it's interesting. So he played King E7 in the end, but he could try, for example, D5. Okay. When the king comes to get the bishop, you play G4. Looks very strange, huh? He allows that, and now H3. And the problem is, okay, yes, I'm a piece down,
Ah,
but
crazy. But he
my
get check.
king cannot leave because this is going to be a queen. And there's no way the bishop can help.
Crazy.
Crazy, huh? So even
Uh,
if, for example, he does this to break the structure, right? To break it, well, Fisher's just going to say no, right? And he has
yeah. So
enough
he take.
pawns.
He make
He has enough
F5.
pawns to sustain
Yes. Yes.
this,
Yes. Yes.
right? So the king can come up to here, but the second that he leaves, boom. So now it's a bishop against the king, and the king in the end game is a good piece, right?
Mm.
If these pawns are all on white, then this bishop is absolutely useless. So you could imagine something like this. I'm not sure if it works. I don't think it works really well. Otherwise, there must be something. But it's a good try. The other one would be just to play h3 and um, allow this. But the problem is, after this move, bishop d2,
Yes. And
the
CC
bishop is
way.
still trapped. So some people think that this is
Ah.
what he didn't see, right? He didn't. He realized too late. He thought maybe that he could come to h3, like he'd calculated this at first, and then he realized when he got here that, like, oh, actually there's this and I'm trapped. So
Mm.
nobody really knows, right? So he played this instead. He played this king e7 move instead, and he got two pawns, and it's still kind of a game because the king is very active. There are three pawns against one, and maybe we can make a draw. Like, if we exchange all the pawns, it's a draw. So here
Mm.
he goes, he does this. Apparently, it's a mistake. He could have tried another way. Uh-huh. and uh Black's king will run to the queen side, saving the game. So yeah, this is
Yes.
one possibility. He could have still drawn, but he went wrong at some point, and and the pawn started running and blah blah blah. But he caught up in the end. I'm not going into too
Mm.
much detail because it's not what's important. What's important is um, it's basically a cultural thing. It's basically to know that this happened and that there's a debate about it and that it's not so simple. Even once you've won the bishop, he does get two pawns, and there's also ways to trap this king. This is interesting. It's interesting to understand this.
It's
You've lost a
crazy.
piece, but you contain the king, so it's still the game is still alive.
Yes, and the bishop cannot do it because the feet is white and not black, so the bishop is useless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's for the Fisher Spassky reference. That happened in your game. The guy played bishop takes h2. So for the chess lovers out there, when they saw bishop takes h2, it was like no, it was a really nice kind of surprise. Okay, I'm
Yes,
not sure about you. I'm kind of exhausted. I gave a 3 hour lesson before the our
crazy.
yeah. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna need to take at least a break. Um, but yeah, it was uh, it was definitely nice talking to you.
For me too. Thank you. I have now so much input from me for my chess game, so I will try it. 40 minutes play.
What you have to really remember is the isolated pawn. If there is a possibility to have an isolated pawn to play against it, generally speaking, okay, there will be there's levels to this game, right?
Mm.
But try to play against an isolated pawn. It's a good strategy. If you can isolate one of the pawns and just play against it, you control the square in front of it, right? You don't allow him to move forward, and then you just gang up on the pawn. It's a good strategy to have.
Of course. Nee, it's good. I really thank you for that. And I mean, the chance is cool. You have so much input you can learn. That's cool. Thank
We'll
you.
we'll do other lessons. We'll do other stuff. Okay. You try and do a little bit longer games on the internet. Try maybe one game or two a week. You do like 30 minutes each, right? Or at
Mm.
least 15 or 20 minutes. Give yourself the time to not, because you're always in a hurry. Even
Mm.
against Dogukan in Paris, you had a
It was too
really good
fast.
position, and at some point you could have won a piece and you didn't pick it up because you played too fast.
Mm.
So you have to learn to yes, it's good to play fast, but sometimes you have to slow down. You have to, because you can't play well really fast. It's not possible.
Mm. Thank you. That's a good. That's a good thing that I have to try to learn. And I will do it.
Okay, continue with the tactics. It's a good training method.
Yes, of course. I learned so much about that.
Is there anything else you would like to add? Is there anything you would like to say before we are dramatically going to cut the
Yes, I will. I will only say, everyone has a dream, and when you have a dream, so keep it on. So try it, do it something for you, and I don't know then what your fans are, that they are chess players or chess boxing players. So,
I
but
would know.
on everyone, when you have a plan, you have an idea, you have a dream, keep it on, do it your best, and you will do it one day. You will do it.
Uh, well, I think you're
That's
definitely the living proof of that.
thank you.
You just go out and do stuff, right? Just and think about it afterwards. And I think that there's something to that. If I'm an overthinker, Like before I even tried chess boxing for 1 year, I was thinking, "Ooh, should I do this?" Before even going to the club, the boxing, I was like, "Maybe I should
Maybe.
do chess boxing." I wish I could just jump into things. You know, it would be.
Yes, this is important.
Mm, 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 mm.
Yes, this is it, because when you don't do it, you lost because you don't try it. So when you don't try it, you lost always. When you try it, you will surprise about your skills. And so do it. That's cool.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Just hang on, because I did have. Uh, no, yeah. Just the last word, maybe on where you would like chess boxing to go. Like if you could talk to the promoters, if you could talk to the people, like the WCBO guys, or like what's your vision? What would you? Are they doing a good job? Are they? Is there anything you would like? You would imagine that would be an improvement? Like anything on your side that you see what I mean? Like
No,
what
not
what
really.
would you if you were a promoter, right? If you
Hmm.
were doing the promotion of a chess boxing thing league, what what would you do differently? Is there anything that you would
Ah.
add
Hmm.
or take away, or anything you don't like,
Um,
or I don't know?
yes, I would say the important thing is that boxing must be more focused, because I think when you are good a chess player, so I think as a chess is in my eyes the almost win. I mean, boxing, it's really hard to make a TKO or a KO in someone, even when he has not so much experience. But you must make a KO. This is not so. I would say
Hmm.
it's not so easy. So I think boxing must be 50-50. So even when you lost in chess, that your boxing should be that they send boxing you won in boxing. So there must be something in
So
my eyes.
how
I
would
have
you
no
how would you
idea.
yeah,
Hmm?
go on.
So just like in Italy was they tried something chess boxing. Chess
Light.
boxing light, yes, something
Uh-huh.
like I mean there was but I would say something like that without a head protector, I would say, because that the KO, I mean, this is boxing KO, and when you don't make a KO, so I'm not sure that is
Uh-huh.
that's make it 50-50. So in my eyes there
So you
must be
don't
more
mind
boxing.
completely revising the rules, like the whole structure of chess boxing. You that doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if it's the alternating rounds, if it starts with chess. All this we could change it completely, or you want to keep it and just maybe make small changes.
Uh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I didn't have no so much ideas,
No, no, okay.
so I can say. But I would say it's important that it's 50-50, because it's called chess boxing and not chess boxing. So for me, that really are with other fighters. I speak with other fighters, and they are good fighters, and they are good in boxing, but almost lost chess boxing because they're not good in chess. And I mean, in boxing, you have only one thing: you have a KO. In chess you can win about checkmate, you can win about time, so you have one piece more, one chance more to win. And the rounds are more in chess, so you have 5 rounds in chess and 3 rounds in boxing, 4 rounds in boxing. So I would say chess is more than boxing, and this is not
Right.
50-50.
No, no, definitely. So the structure of it makes it, because chess there will be a result, right? There's always going to be a result in chess at the end because of the time element, right? So of course in the boxing there doesn't have to be a result. Very often it goes to the judges in boxing, right? So the chess is more determining, and the closer the level at boxing, then the chess is going to be the determining factor. With extreme values, if you have a very, very good boxer with a very, very good chess player who doesn't have good boxing, then it would be like a knockout. So I don't mind it being a 50-50 thing, but in that case the matchmaking has to be very good. It has to be the same kind, because
Yes,
if
this
you
is
have an open category and we have like a professional boxer against a guy who who who's very good at chess, and we want him in the community. We don't want to tell him goodbye, right? But his boxing is poorer. We want that guy, but of course he has to be up against the guy. It makes sense, right? I think for me, it's a very much a context kind of um, sport. Like it's if we have two guys that are made for each other, the matchmaking is really good, then it really is the ultimate competition. It really is good. But you have to have the two guys, because two guys that have nothing in common, like the chess level is too separate. It's not, you know, it doesn't it doesn't fascinate so much. You see what I mean?
Yes, of course. But I would say in a world tournament, you cannot make it. You cannot say, "Yo, okay, this is now our chick." So you fight against him, you against him. There's a weight class. So when you are in this weight class, you have cannot change the fights. So you have not a chance to make a chess to make a fight card or something like that, or a fair fight card.
No,
So
no,
I would.
exactly. Mhm.
This
But
is
it, but this is where I'm not so fascinated with the WCBO World Championship, this open style. For me, it's much more IFC. You know,
yes.
for me, this is the way to go. Right? We have the categories. Everybody is fixed with somebody who is like him, and that's the way the sport should develop.
Yes.
I'm yeah.
That's of course, and I would say I hope that sometimes, as I mean, we are good in the beginning, but the I would say sometimes it must be more be thankful. I mean, it started with money. I mean, in some events you get money, and then you are a hard worker because you get money, and you want as no, you want more fights, and this is how you do it. So in every another sports there is it. So I would say this is the next step where we must go in, and I think we are in a good way because it's happened, and so much events is coming and so much people watching this. So it's good.
Yeah.
I'm really sure that this will be in some years the grateful sport.
Yeah, you. So where do you see it? Do you see it like it will have its place, or you think it's gonna overtake football?
I would say both of them. I mean, the peoples didn't know about chess boxing. This is a thing where I now say this is the trouble because it's not so popular, or not so popular should we should be. But when you see it, the people hear of that, and then they're watching and they are interested on that. So this show me that this is a sport that's going on fire, and I see so much people that watch this. So of course, I would say it will be more than football sometimes.
Wow,
Of course.
that would be crazy.
Yes,
If one day chess boxing is bigger than football, that really would be crazy.
yes, of course. And I mean, you have two communities. So in football, you have football, but in chess boxing, you have one the community in boxing, and you have the community in chess.
Uh-huh.
So two communities come together, and of course, they are big.
Yeah, true, true, true. My friend Hassan, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from the talking about chess. It does get me very very tired. It's draining.
Of course, it is.
Uh-huh. Okay. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you too.
coming. I'm not sure that there were all that many people. I think that there were like 10 people, and then when it cut, there were much less. I think that I'll put it on YouTube, and I'll send it to Guillaume. So I'm sure he'll want to watch it. And
Nice. Gui is best man.
yeah.
I think everything to him. I mean, he's just like a father for me. He's so cool, and I see the movie was so crazy that they made him. I love Gui. He's a good man.
No,
He's a
Guy,
really
no,
good
Guy is
man.
a good guy for sure. Gigi
This is so
is
crazy.
definitely taking a lot of sacrifice. Takes a lot of
So
sacrifice
much.
to do. So yeah, definitely shout out to Guy, because he is the guy who's making things happen in France anyway. for sure.
Yes, of course. But thank you for the meeting, and I'm really excited to see the other fighters that you speak with them. And
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, I'll I'll
that's a
I'll
good
check
step
out.
to chess
I hope
boxing
it
too.
becomes something. I hope it becomes something. Yeah,
I'm sure that will
and we'll
be.
see. And we'll get you back on the show. Just get a few games. Just play some serious stuff. Just make a little bit so that you don't say, "Oh well, I had no time, so I played fast." You have to be able to have the time. So each move you can justify. Each move I can say, "Oh yeah, I played this for this reason, not because I had to play fast." Right. So if
Yes.
you get a couple of games like that in a month's time, I see you again.
Yeah, of course. I'm in. Okay, thank you.
Take care, Hassan.
You too. Good evening.
Ciao, ciao,
Bye.
brother.